This is the FRK. It's the new model I put out with Dan Mann. So the story on this board is I made some boards with Dan Mann. I rode the squash tail and it felt okay. So I never tried the two round tails that he made me. They were in my storage for 2 years. And then a buddy of mine, Dave Spear, I let him borrow one day at Lowers. And he's a little lighter than me and he said, I think you should try it. It feels a little bit big for me. I jumped on it and first wave, it felt like the best small board I'd had in a few years. It's two of them sitting there for 2 years. First wave, I stood up, did a bottom turn off the top and I was like, what have I been doing? This one felt amazing. It feels super good. So Dan and I have been working on some shapes for a while. We didn't actually even realize we had worked on a shape for 2 years. What happened was you made 3 boards for me.
Yep.
2 were round pins, 1 was a squash. The squash felt really nice at times and then all of a sudden, once in a while, I don't know, maybe it was just a little too much lift in the tail or something. And sometimes it just felt a little funny in the turns. And so I didn't ever ride the round pins, the round tail boards. Fast forward 2 years, they're sitting in my storage at my house. A friend of mine from Florida who's about probably 10 or 15 pounds lighter than me. He said, you got anything a little thinner than what you ride? And I said, well, I got these boards and I think they're a little too fine for me. And he rode it and rode a few waves at Lowers and he said, man, I think this thing would be super sick for you. It feels too big for me. He said, here, try this thing for 1 wave. And I jumped on and first bottom turn off the top, I was like, man, this board's insane. And that's what this FRK is. I got one of these straight out of the factory, and I brought it here to Surf Ranch.
The first sample, yeah.
It felt unbelievable. Same thing again. When I picked this thing up at the factory, I was like, it's too fine, it's too small. Even this one right now, I feel I'm like, it's too small, it won't float me, whatever, all that stuff in my head. I get it on a wave, and the thing feels like I can mind surf it. Yeah. You know, this thing really jumps and drives to where I want it to. I look at this board, and to me, for what the standard is today for a top performance board, this board looks perfect. The lines all look great. The template's great. The rocker's smooth. It has a very subtle bottom curve on it. I actually don't know where I would go from here